Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is September 19th, 2024, and we just had a pretty rough start to the Champions League as Barcelona just lost 1-2 against Monaco, or 2-1, I should say, against Monaco. A team that played for 80 minutes, one man down, and a team that fought until the last minute, but unfortunately, it was not our day. This is the post-match live analysis. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and this is the post-match live analysis where we analyze Barcelona matches as soon as they end and where I get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments out loud, answering your questions, and getting a discussion going. This is not to be confused with Barca News' podcast, which are on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where we share Barcelona news, and I also get to interact with you lovely people. Now, having said all that, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. If you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you hit the Give Back, Goal Kits, or Fanatics. If you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you hit the Bet Us. All links are down below in the description. Now, let's talk about today's match that just ended a few moments ago. It was Barcelona's first match in this Champions League season under the guidance of Hansi Flick. And while it was an absolutely rough start for the team, as the team just lost 2-1 against Monaco away in Monaco Stadium after losing Eric Garcia at the 10th minute and playing one man down for 80 minutes. Definitely a tough day for all of us Barcelona fans. We were all very excited. We were all very hopeful that we would have a strong start to the Champions League after the perfect start to La Liga season, winning 5 out of 5 matches and winning in a convincing way. Unfortunately, today was not our day. And that's okay. We'll talk about it in a little bit more, but let's start with the action that led to this defeat, because really, we can all track the whole loss could be tracked down to this moment where Marc ter Stegen commits a horrendous mistake, decides to pass the ball to Eric Garcia, who you see right there in the middle with a Monaco player right on his back. Even though he had Kouarsi on the right wide open, he had Iñigo Martinez on the left wide open, and he had Balde even ahead by where it says MasterCard, by the MasterCard announcement. He had Balde there, wide open, 3 wide open players, but he decides to pass it to Eric Garcia, who had a player on him. Of course, Eric Garcia immediately gets beat by the Monaco player. He tries his best to stop him, but he ends up committing a foul. And being that he was the last man, the referee gave him a red card. Now, I know some people are disagreeing on social media whether it was a red card or not. I think it was a red card. He was the last man. He takes down the Monaco attacker. Not much we can complain there, even though I do agree that the refereeing was a bit horrible today. But the refereeing was not the reason for the defeat. The referee did not make a mistake in the red card. I think it truly was a red card. Really, the only one to blame here is Marc ter Stegen, because the pass that he made was absolutely horrendous. There was no reason for ter Stegen to pass it to Eric Garcia, who had a player marking him when he had 3 other players wide open that he could make the pass to. Now, unfortunately, after this red card, there wasn't much Barcelona could do. The floodgates opened and Monaco started attacking, creating chance after chance. And well, when you're down a man in European competitions, you get punished for it, especially when that man is your defensive midfielder. Because after all, your defensive midfielder is supposed to act like that plug that prevents the opposing team from attacking or from pouring through the openings in the midfield. And when you lose your plug, well, the floodgates open and Monaco started attacking time and time again until they managed to score a goal, which, by the way, I think ter Stegen could have done a little bit more in that goal, in Monaco's first goal. Because when Monaco's attacker kicks the ball, Ter Stegen doesn't even try to go after it. He just stays frozen. And well, we were down 1-0. But thanks to a brilliant play by Lamine Yamal, we were able to draw the game. But unfortunately, it was not enough because Monaco then scored the second goal late in the second half. And then Barcelona ended up losing this match, losing the opening match. And again, it sucks because we all had high hopes for this match. We all had high hopes that we could start the Champions League with a strong start. But again, when you're down a man in European competitions, you get punished for it. So not much there to do, not much there to say either. I know a lot of people are upset. I see a lot of people talking about, oh, again, we're doing this. Again, we're humiliating ourselves in the Champions League. Calm down, everyone. This was just one match. We still have 7 more. And again, no one to blame here except Ter Stegen, not the players, not the coach. When you're down 1 man at the 10th minute, there's just not much you could do. But despite that, despite being a man down for 80 minutes, the team fought until the last minute. And honestly, we even had the chance to draw the game. Raphinha had 3 chances, 1-on-1 that he missed all of them. And Barcelona created a few chances here and there where it could have ended up in goal and we could have tied the match. But unfortunately, tonight was not our night. The defeat arrived. It was bound to happen. We weren't going to finish the season, invincible. Someone was bound to defeat us. It came today at the hands of Monaco. It's unfortunate. We were hoping to get some payback from the Jan Gamper match, but it is what it is. The season is still pretty long. Again, there's 7 more matches in the Champions League. There are 33 other matches in La Liga. La Copa del Rey hasn't even started. So before, you throw in the towel, before you start talking about players out and coaches out, I think we should all calm down and let this be a reminder of something that I've been saying a lot. Take it easy because this is a brand new project with a new coach, lots of young players. We have to take it one match at a time. Just yesterday in the podcast, people were talking about winning trebles and winning the Champions League. And I said, guys, calm down. This is a new project. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs. There's going to be some great moments. There's going to be some bad moments. Today, it was one of those bad moments. It wasn't our night. The team fought until the last minute. We had the chance to tie the game. We couldn't because we were 1 man down. And when you're 1 man down in European competitions, you get punished for it. Now, not much to say about the players themselves, but let's look at the lineup that Hansi Flick started today. Of course, Ter Stegen in goal with Jules Koundé and Balde as our 2 fullbacks. Kouarsi and Inigo as our 2 center backs. Of course, that all was expected. And then we saw Pedri in the double pivot Casado in the double pivot with Eric Garcia. That was a bit of a surprise. I thought it would be Pedri in a double pivot with Raphinha taking his place, but we saw Eric starting. We know that Hansi Flick does like Eric Garcia more as a pivot than as a center back. And then our front 3, we had Lamine, Pedri, and Raphinha, with Pedri taking the place of Dani Olmo and Lewandowski as our center forward. Again, not much to say about the players. There's not much we can blame them for. There's not much we can blame Flick for. Again, when you're down a man in the 10th minute, there's just not much you can do. And despite that, the team did play or fight until the last minute, but simply it was not our night. Now, I will say this, and if you want to get some silver lining out of this match or you want to get some positive feedback from this match, what I really liked, even though we did lose and even though it was not a good day for us Barcelona fans, what I did like is that the team did not fall apart. It might have seemed like it did because there were moments where Monaco were just attacking, but the team continued to play the way that they know how. And that's something I've talked about a lot, which is the importance of developing an identity and the importance of developing a style of play. And not only being able to develop that style of play and identity, but the importance of sticking to it. Because when things are going bad or when things are going great, you have to continue following the plan. Otherwise, it all falls apart. And today, Barcelona did not fall apart. Today, despite being a man down, despite being a goal down, Barcelona continued to play like they've been playing so far, continued to employ the same style of play and the same identity. And as a result, we were able to score a goal. Lamine Yamal with that brilliant goal of his. And we even created chances where, had we finished them, we could have even drawn the match, and who knows, maybe even won the match. Because again, Raphinha had 3 chances, 1-1, missed all of them. Had he completed at least one of them, we would have drawn. Maybe if he would have scored 2 of them, we could have won. But again, it was not our night, and that's okay because these things were bound to happen. It might happen again. It's part of the process. It's still a growing team. It's still a project under construction. So it is what it is. Now, I will say one thing. I know a lot of you are going to be upset about it, but I have to say something, even if you get upset. But today, Raphinha showed us once again that he's not worth 60 million euros. Now, I'm not blaming Raphinha for the defeat. Don't get me wrong. I think the mistake here was Ter Stegen's mistake. He caused the red card, and being 10 men, 1 man down for 80 minutes, you can't really blame the coach. You can't really blame the players either. But I will say this. Raphinha today showed us once again that he is not worth the 60 million euros because he had 3 chances, 1-1. The first one, he gets the pass, his face-to-face with the goalkeeper, and gets the ball taken from him like taking candy from a little kid. Second chance, he gets another pass. Face-to-face with the goalkeeper, he tries to dribble him, the goalkeeper gets the ball. Third chance, he is left by himself, and what does he do? He gets tangled with the ball. So 3 1-on-1 chances, 3 chances wasted. And again, I know Raphinha had a couple of great matches at the beginning of the season, but today he showed us once again that he's not worth 60 million euros. Why? Because when you pay 60 million euros for a player, you expect him to be a difference maker, and you expect him to show up in moments like this. You pay 60 million euros to a player that you expect him when you're losing and he gets a ball face-to-face with the goalkeeper, you expect him to complete that, to score that. That's what you expect from a player that you spend 60 million euros for. Not to waste 1, 2, or 3 chances. Now, I'm not saying that Raphinha should have scored all 3 chances and had a hat trick. I think that would be a little bit delusional. But he could have at least scored one of those. Again, I'm not blaming him for the defeat. I think Raphinha did what he could given the situation. I think all the players did what they could given the situation. But today, Raphinha reaffirms my belief that I've been having for 2 years, that he is not a difference maker and that Barcelona overpaid for him. Now, there's not much more to say. Again, tough night for us Barcelona fans. Being a man down for 80 minutes is not easy. But again, if you want to take a silver lining out of all of this, the team did fight until the last minute. The team did not fall apart. The team continued trying. The team scored a goal and could have even scored more. But tonight was not our night. We have 7 more matches in the Champions League. Let's hope that the team can, dust its shoulders off and continue fighting. And I really hope that the team doesn't lose faith in what Hansi Flick is building. Because so far it's been working really well. We've won 5 out of 5 matches in La Liga. Today was not our night. But that's not a reason to lose faith in what Hansi Flick is building. I think now it's going to be a good test for Hansi Flick on how he can boost the morale of the players, convince them to continue believing in the project, because we have plenty of matches to go. Again, 33 matches in La Liga, 7 more in the Champions League group stages. Copa del Rey hasn't started. The season is very, very long. We just started. We have plenty of matches ahead of us. So I think this is going to be a good test for Hansi Flick to see how he deals with this first defeat. And hopefully he can rally up the troops and make them continue to believe in the project, because we need the team to continue doing well. Because after all, we do have a match only 2 days away, or 3 days away. I guess Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days away. 3 days away against Villarreal in La Liga. Anyways, that is all I had to say. There's not much to say again. We can't really, judge Flick or judge the team based on today's performance, given that we were a man down for 80 minutes. But let's see what you guys are saying, and then we will end the live stream because, like I said, not much to say. Tough day, but it was bound to happen, and it happened today. But let's continue looking forward, and let's continue believing in the project. Java the Hut says, I thought Barca moved past all of its failures by getting rid of all the players that humiliated the team every season in the Champions League. I guess I was wrong. I think you're wrong about your statement. You're trying to judge the entire season by one match. That wasn't even that horrible of a match. Remember, if this was last season and Barcelona would have been down one man and down one goal, this match would have ended easily 4-0, probably. But the team did not fall apart. They continue playing the way they know how to play. They continue trying. They scored a goal. They could have tied the match. It didn't work out. It is what it is. Again, we're not going to just cruise by every team and win 5-0 every single match. It's not going to happen. There's going to be moments like today. And today is a test not only to Flick and the players to see if they can rally up, but today is also a test for the fans to see how they take this. You know, so far, a lot of people fail in this test. All right, we do have a donation. Mustafa Ibrahim says, Ter Stegen's constant blunder is unacceptable. He's constantly making silly short passes that don't work anymore. I agree 100% with you. I think Ter Stegen is an excellent goalie when it comes to saves, when it comes to his reaction. Even today, he had a lot of great saves, a lot of important saves where the score line could have ended a lot worse. But when it comes to his passing, it's just been horrendous. And not just today. This has been going on since last season. Time and time again, Ter Stegen is always choosing to pass to the player that has a mark on him. And we saw that all throughout last season. We're seeing it now again. And I think it's time for someone to pull Ter Stegen aside, whether it's Flick, whether it's the goalkeeper coach, and be like, what the fuck are you doing? Stop making these silly passes, especially because you have other options. He had Cuarci, he had Iñigo, he had Balde. It's not like all Barcelona players had marks on them. And Ter Stegen was like, all right, I got to pick someone. So let it be Eric. No. He picked the only guy who had a mark on him. Because Cuarci, Iñigo, and Balde were all wide open. And he picked the only guy that had a mark on him. And that's been going on for quite some time. And that needs to be fixed. Because it might not seem as important as saving shots, but it's very important. And today was a big highlight of that because, well, it cost us the match. It cost us 3 very important points in the Champions League. And it needs to be fixed. Bulazi says, I thought the weekend mistake was just minor, but now it's getting out of hand. Ter Stegen and the bench need to be best friends from now on. I don't necessarily agree with benching Ter Stegen, nor do I agree with all the people that are like, Ter Stegen out, Ter Stegen out. Yes, his passing has been horrible, but you cannot deny Ter Stegen is still one of the best goalkeepers in the world when it comes to saves and stopping shots. Today was not his night. Today was a horrible night for Ter Stegen. Not only the red card, but I think the first goal, Monaco's first goal, I think he could have done a little bit more rather than just freezing his place. But I think this is something that needs to be corrected, the passing. And then if he cannot correct it, then you need to send him to the bench. But I wouldn't say that, that's it. They're staying out. Like I'll see a lot of people saying, I've gotten used to this. You have a player has one bad match, out, he sucks. Or one player who's had 10 bad matches, he has 1 good matches. And it's like, oh, yeah, Ballon d'Or. It's like, let's not be fickle. Let's look at the overall performance of players rather than just focus or fixate on one match. Baba says, Ter Stegen is old. We need someone young for the future. We do have young goalies in the academy. We have Cochen, we have Astralaga, all goalkeepers that are looking very promising, especially Cochen. Barcelona think that he's the future goalkeeper. So we do have options, but it's going to take some time. Chris says, Kunde, Raphinha, Lamine, Iñigo played every minute. Yes, they have. Well, Lamine was actually subbed out, but Kunde, Iñigo, but I guess you mean that they fought every minute that they were on the field. And if that's the case, I do agree. Yes, I do agree 100%. I think the whole team fought, honestly. But, when you're down a man in an away stadium in a European competition, it's just very difficult. Very difficult. But I think the whole team fought until the last minute. It wasn't our night. So we just move on. Ekel says, hi, Mo. Ter Stegen is making me sick. I think I'm having malaria right now. This is really crazy. First Champions League game, first loss. I really hope this player's against Villarreal. Tough night indeed, but, it is what it is. Mike says, Mo, I think it's time to make Ter Stegen compete for first team. These mistakes keep coming and coming. We need competition ourselves. He does compete. Astralaga, Cochen, well, mostly Astralaga, but Cochen too, and of course, Iñaki Peña are always training with the first team. So it's not like it's just Ter Stegen training and then everyone else is in the reserve teams. Like, he has competition, but time and time again, he proves that he is the best goalkeeper. And he is, but he needs to work. Let's see. Shakam says, we had 10 men for Christ's sake. This is Champions League, not La Liga. It isn't easy. I agree with you, my friend. Before we all try to burn it all down, let's remember we played for 80 minutes with 10 men. And despite that, again, we scored a goal and we were very close to drawing. Like, this was not a disaster 8-2 against Bayern Munich. This was simply not our night. We're not going to win every match. Just get that through your heads. And just because we lose a match, it doesn't mean that that's it. It's over. The season's over. Flick out and every single player out and Laporta out and burn it all down. Like, I understand everyone's upset, but we need to take this a little bit more calmly. Dalvin says, Lamine Yamal is the best player of the world. No contest. Honestly, every match he proves that yes. He I don't know if right now he's the best, but he's definitely up there. At least top 2, top 3, if not the best. I don't know if we can still say he's the best yet because, he's only been around for such a short period of time. But yes, he is showing us time and time again that what a difference maker, what a player that's a difference maker looks like. And it's Lamine Yamal. Because even when things are going bad, he still finds a way to turn things around, right? And that's what I mean when I say difference maker. Remember that. Because when I used to say Raphinha is not a difference maker, people would be like, well, he scored 10 goals. I was like, I don't think you know what a difference maker is. And if you don't know, look at Lamine Yamal. That's what a difference maker looks like. All right, let's see. Shubham says, all of you are talking. We need changes, new goalkeeper, winger, striker, but where is the money? Show me the money. We Barca fans are poor and beggars cannot be choosers. I think today what kind of bit us in the ass was not necessarily the lack of players, the lack of signings, I should say, but the lack of available players. Because I know some people were wondering, why is Flick taking so long to make substitutions? And well, the answer is easy. Because when he looked at the bench, he didn't see anyone he can put in, right? And that's not necessarily a lack of signings. That's more of a lack of available players. Because let's not forget, Araujo, injured. Christensen, injured. Gavi, injured. Frankie, injured. Fermin, injured. Olmo, injured. I mean, right there, 4 midfielders, all injured. Who was he going to put in? Pablo Torre? Pablo Torre is not ready to play a full Champions League match. Who else? Right? Guille Fernandez? The guy is only 16 years old. You cannot put the responsibility on him like that. I mean, look at what the substitution that Flick did end up making. Gerard Martin, Sergi Dominguez, like all young players. And we cannot put that responsibility on the shoulder of young players who it's their first time playing with the first team. And it's their first time ever even playing in the Champions League, right? So it wasn't necessarily lack of signings. It was lack of available players because we have 6 starters all injured. And, Flick couldn't just throw a bunch of little kids in there at the 60th minute. It just wouldn't have been fair to them. TLC Tone. TLC Tone says, this wasn't the worst match for us to lose. Champions League still in front of us. Didn't lose any ground in La Liga. True, but it obviously would have been better to start. But I guess if you are going to make a mistake, it's better to make it now at the beginning of the Champions League, where you can take that mistake, learn from it, improve from it, and then come back much stronger. Because remember, mistakes, they're your best teachers. You are going to learn the most from mistakes. So if we're going to make a mistake, I'd rather make it right now, where we still have time to learn from it, improve from it, and come back stronger. Let's not forget, when Argentina won the World Cup, they lost their first match, and they lost it against Saudi Arabia. It wasn't like they lost it against, France or Brazil. They lost it against Saudi Arabia. What did they do? They learned from it. They got better. Came back against Mexico, a little bit stronger. Barely beat Mexico. They got even better. And then from there, they just started winning stronger and stronger and stronger. So I agree with you. I would have preferred to start the Champions League strong with a win. But if we were going to make a mistake and learn from it, now was the time to learn from it. K-Street says, while Ter Stegen made a bad pass, Garcia's body language indicated that he did not want the ball. It would be interesting to know how many touches he had before that passage of play. I mean, why would he want the ball? He literally had a guy right on his ass. And he knew that he had a guy right on his ass. So, of course, he was not going to want the ball. I mean, if you're standing there and you have a guy on you and you see three of your teammates all wide open and the goalkeeper is looking at you, of course you're going to be like, yo, chill. I got someone on me. There's three other people. What are you doing? Of course he's not going to want the ball. Berkey says, I was so upset with their second stupidity. We were controlling the game, and I'm sure that we were going to win this game. I think had we not lost Eric Garcia, we could have won the match. Because even with one man down and even playing with one man down for 80 minutes, we still had the chance to win it. But unfortunately, that mistake cost us a lot. So it is what it is. Mark says, Raphinha true colors showing. I mean, they've always been showing, I think, but sometimes we get distracted. It was like last season. He also had like a handful of great matches, which made people forget about the other sea of bad ones. And I think this season was the same. He started out good, so everybody's like, oh, Raphinha, Ballon d'Or, Simo, you're a hater, blah, blah, blah. And well, today we got the same of the old Raphinha. The same of the Raphinha that we've been seeing for 2 years now. Like, sure, he runs a lot. Sure, he, sacrifices a lot. Don't get me wrong. I'm never going to say anything otherwise. He's probably the hardest worker on the field. Not only the hardest worker, it's pretty amazing his tank of gas. Because this guy runs like sprints the full 90 minutes and never gets tired. It's pretty impressive. And not only that, he never gets injured. Like, he runs like there's no tomorrow for the full 90 minutes, doesn't get tired and doesn't get injured. That's very, very impressive. So I'll never take that away from him. But he's just not Barcelona. And today showed that. 3 chances face-to-face with the goalkeeper. All of them missed. One of them, he almost tripped on the ball. By himself. Not a defender around him. And he got tangled up with the ball. An elite player, a Barca level player, a Barca starter that cost 60 million euros should not be getting tangled up with the ball by himself when he has a chance to score a goal. That's all I'll say. All right, Kay says, we need an extra midfielder like Gabi or Frankie to help control the midfield. We will get better with all our injured players returning. Bisca Barca. I agree with you, my friend, 100%. Carla says, Barca fans really disappoint me. They are very irrational. Support the team. We are doing very well with a lot of young players and a smart coach. I agree with you, my friend. I think it's way too early to start burning things down. This is just one. It's the first defeat of the season, for Christ's sake. We've won 5 matches and we just lost 1. I think we should all calm down and take it easy. All right. George Bro says he didn't do anything and he messed up a good counter attack. Not sure who you're talking about. If you want to clarify, that'd be great. FIC Mystery says, it's shame how you guys want to blame for losing an away match with a man down from the start of the game. Barcelona will still win the Champions League. I agree with the sentiment that we shouldn't be, tossing blame around, except for Ter Stegen, because he literally did cause the red card. But I don't know. Again, we need to take it easy, guys. Let's stop thinking we're going to just win trebles in Champions League. I think we have to take it one match at a time. This is a brand new project, and we need to be patient. Because you're only setting up yourself for failure. And we're seeing it right now where people are like, oh, everything sucks, everybody out. Why? Because in their mind, they had an idea that Barcelona was just going to win 5-0 every single match and just win a sextuple. And that's not going to be the case. If it happens, great. But you cannot expect that out of a brand new project. Richard says, Mo, the silver lining is showing the board that we need a competent goalkeeper as a major transfer target in the summer. Again, there's no plans for any major targets because we have what we need in the academy. Kochen is the future bet of Barcelona. And Ostralaga is also in the running. But mostly Kochen. So no, we don't need a major transfer for a goalkeeper. It's like Bernal. He's the future pivot. We don't need to go spend 80 million euros on a pivot. Customer service, Top Ranks Hotels says, hi, Mo. I think Barca should start looking out for a new goalkeeper. Ter Stegen has been costing us some points. This poor decision-making when passing the ball. Again, no plan for that because we have what we need in the academy. Richard says, Mo, doesn't Raphinha deserve to have an off day too? Chill, bro. Prior to today, he's been playing well. Yes, every player deserves to have an off day. But when you've had an off day for 2 years, that becomes a problem, right? And I've explained this plenty of times. I've always said A good player, a Barca level player, should have good matches for at least 70, 80% of the matches. You can't expect 100%, right? Because that's impossible. Even Messi had really bad nights, right? You cannot expect 100% every single match. You're going to be great. But 70 to 80%. With the other 20% being, whatever. But when it's inverse, when you're having 20, 30% of your matches good, and then the other 70, 80 bad, that's a problem. So yes, of course, Raphinha is entitled to having a day off. Every player is. But when most of your days are off and only a few are good, that's a problem. H. Andrew says, Mo, I think the red card was caused by the goalkeeper today. Yes, my friend, I agree. Wendell says, Raphinha worked hard and covered a lot of ground. It was not for him there. Would have been more goals. I agree that he did cover a lot of ground, but I don't know about whether there would be more goals because of him. Not sure how you reached that conclusion. But anyways, Richard says, honestly, even prior to this game, I had low expectation for Champions League. La Liga should be our priority. I mean, Barcelona's Barcelona. Barcelona's always going to have to compete for all competitions. But it is wise to keep your expectations low because, again, it's a new project and you cannot expect sextuples out of a new project. Okay, says, Mo, do you think Hansi delaying changes was because he had no better options on the bench that can track back because we were down one man? Absolutely. Like I said, it was the lack of available players really bit us in the ass. Olmo, Gabi, Frankie, Fermin, Araujo, Christensen, all injured, all starters, all very important players, and they were all injured. And then, Flick looked over to the bench, and it was all just young players who've never even played in the Champions League before, and that was just not the moment to throw them in there and put the responsibility of them on them to, make a comeback in a Champions League match when you're down a man. It's just not fair. Let's see. The Deji says, expected Lewandowski to have been taken off on time. He couldn't press with a one-man down. Raphinha was really trying. Flick has do better, make critical subs without any favoritism. I don't think it was favoritism. I think he kept the players that he kept on the field because those were the best players he had, right? And it could have gone bad either way. What if he would have taken off Lewandowski, put Pau Victor, and Pau Victor wouldn't have been able to do anything because he's never played Champions League match? Then people would have been like, why did Flick take out Lewandowski? He should have kept him. He's the veteran. He's the one who's won the Champions League. He's the one who knows how to play these matches, right? It could have gone bad either way. There's not much we can blame here besides Ter Stegen for that horrible pass. But as far as the players and Flick, it is what it is. Oh, we do have donations. Oh, my God. I've been sleeping on the donations. Sorry about that, guys. But Anthony Bustamante says, it gave me quarterfinals flashback. Yeah, a little bit. But I'll say this. As opposed to the match against PSG, the team completely fell apart. Today, they did it. Today, that team continued playing the way they know how to play. They continued trying. They continued fighting. We scored a goal. We almost scored more. It didn't work out. But at least the team did not fall apart. And hey, Rahan, what's up, my friend? Says, Eddie Garcia reminded me today why I was so pissed to see him come back. He's a total liability on this team. In my opinion, I've felt this way for years now, and he needs to go forever. I don't think we can put this on Eddie Garcia's shoulders. It was his first time starting, and his first time starting in the Champions League in a position that's not his. Remember, he's a center back. When you change a player from position, it's going to take time to get used to it. And you're throwing a player in there in a new position as a starter in a Champions League, he's going to make mistakes. Who's really at fault here is Ter Stegen, who thought it would be a bright idea to pass him the ball when he had a clear mark on him and three other players wide open. That was where it all started. Baby Scumbag says, what's up, Mo? Thoughts on Hansi lineup and subs? Lineup was the correct lineup. There wasn't much to do. Everybody that started was supposed to be there. The only change was, of course, Eddie Garcia, which I think that was maybe a little bit of a mistake. I think, and not because of the red card, just because, again, Eddie Garcia has never started in that position, let alone in the Champions League. I think it should have been Pedri with Casado in the double pivot, with Raphinha playing in the place of Pedri as an attacking midfielder, and have Ferran on the left wing. Sure, Ferran is not amazing, is not great, but he can at least cover that position. He's not going to be the guy scoring goals and making a difference, but at least he's not your defensive midfielder who, if he makes a mistake, you're left exposed, right? Because when Eddie Garcia made that mistake with Ter Stegen, we were left exposed. If Ferran makes a mistake up by the penalty box, when he's attacking, that's okay. He loses the ball, whatever. There's 10 other players behind him ready to defend it. But when your defensive midfielder loses the ball, you're screwed. There's no one behind him to cover, because usually when a defensive midfielder has the ball, the center backs open up. So I think that was the only mistake. But, I'm not a coach. I'm sure Flick had a good reason on why to start Eric Garcia over, having Pedri play in that position and with Ferran on the left. All right, Abshir says, Mo, don't you think Lewa's not doing anything for us? He makes no runs for a cross. He doesn't run in with the ball either. And he's in the future bench him. Well, he's never going to run with the ball because he's not that kind of center forward. Lewandowski is not the mobile center forward. Lewandowski is not the guy who's going to grab the ball, dribble past players and score. He's also not the player who's going to grab the ball and run from half field and then score. He is the kind of the center forward. He's your classic number 9, stays in the box, gets a pass, scores it. That's his style. That's always been his style. That always will be his style. He's a classic number 9. So you cannot expect out of Lewandowski something that he's never been, Now, can we blame him today? Not really. With one man down, there wasn't much Lewandowski could do. All right, let's see. All right, let's do a couple more comments, then we will end this because it's getting late. Street Fighter says, Oli, Fati, and Fermin are experienced players, and if we put youngsters, it can affect mental health. I agree. Again, you can't put the responsibility on a bunch of academy players that have never played in the Champions League and say, okay, go out there and give me a comeback. It's just not going to happen. And Flick understood that, and that's why Flick took so long to put him in and put him in towards the last 15 minutes of the match. All right, let's see. Klaus says there's a noticeable change in mental strength. I agree 100% with you. Again, if this was last season, this team would have completely fallen apart and the scoreline could have been way, way worse. But instead, the team kept it together. They continue playing in an organized manner. They continue creating chances. We scored a goal. We could have scored more. We could have drawn the match. It didn't happen. It wasn't our night. All we can chuck it off to is bad luck. And let's hope that the team learns from this. Let's hope that the team rallies up from this, because the season is very, very long. We still have plenty of matches to go. So let's hope that we can revert this, learn from this mistake, and then continue building our project and building a strong project for the future. Anyways, that is all for this post-match live analysis. Not a great day for us Barcelona fans, but that's okay. Things happen. That's how football is. Sometimes you have great moments. Sometimes you don't. Today was one of those bad moments. Let's hope we can revert the situation on the weekend against Villarreal. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, Visca Barça.